You're catching me. This is why it's beautiful. I don't know many people be open to this. I don't have answers yet. You know what I mean? I don't have any answers yet. I'm in the middle of it. I'm on the path. You know what I mean? I don't have answers yet.
That's Shia LaBeouf 1 week after Mardi Gras. And the reason this clip is so devastating is because he's not in denial. He knows exactly what happened. He knows why these kinds of things have been happening for years, but it hasn't saved him once. 2014, Shia was exposed for plagiarizing a short film, and rather than issuing a clean apology for it, he decided to show up at the Berlin Film Festival and walk the red carpet with a paper bag on his head saying, "I am not famous anymore." But that same year, things got even darker, because a few months after Berlin, Shia was arrested for disrupting a Broadway performance of Cabaret. He stood up mid-show, started yelling at the actors, he refused to leave, and even spat at a police officer. At this point, he was still a functioning actor in Hollywood, but he was clearly unconventional and a little erratic at the same time. And that reputation only got stronger a year later, when this video was released.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Yeah, now people started thinking this guy had more than just a few screws loose. A couple years later, after Donald Trump was elected president, he launched his weirdest project yet. He Will Not Divide Us, a live-streamed installation where anyone could walk up and chant into the camera. And almost instantly, it stopped being an art project and became a battleground. By the time we hit 2020, when the real allegations began to arrive, nobody treated it like an unexpected twist. They treated it like confirmation. See, that summer, Shia was charged with misdemeanor battery and petty theft in LA. And a few months after that, around Christmas time, his ex-girlfriend, FKA Twigs, filed a lawsuit against him too, alleging sexual battery, physical assault, emotional abuse, and knowingly giving her an STD. But as if all that was not bad enough, a second ex-girlfriend made similar allegations in the same filing. And when the New York Times asked for comment, he simply said, "I have no excuses for my alcoholism or aggression, only rationalizations." And this is when the version of Shia that this video is actually about starts to come into focus. Because in 2019, before any of the allegations went public, he wrote and starred in a film called Honey Boy. It was about his childhood, about his father who was volatile, cruel, and damaged in ways that were infectious. And Shia played his own father in it. Now, he didn't have to do that. Nobody asked him to. He wrote the script himself while in rehab and processing a DUI arrest. And the reason that matters is this. He was already excavating all of this trauma publicly before the world even knew there was anything to excavate. He always knew there was something wrong. So now it's 2021 and Shia is at his breaking point.
Because at this point, I'm nuclear. Nobody wants to talk to me, including my mother. The manager's not calling. The agent's not calling. I'm not connected to the business anymore.
And this was not just career talk either.
And at the time of my life, I didn't want to swim anymore. I had a gun on the table. I was out of here. I didn't want to be alive anymore when all of this happened, okay? Shame like I had never experienced before. Kind of shame, you forget how to breathe.
This was rock bottom. And it was at this moment that a director named Abel Ferrara reached out to him via Zoom with an offer that sounded almost absurd given everything going on. He wanted Shia to play Padre Pio. Now, if you don't know who that is, Padre Pio was a Franciscan friar from southern Italy who became one of the most controversial and beloved figures in the history of the Catholic Church. Now, here's what Shia's own explanation of why he said yes to the role was.
My ego shows up. And now I'm like, yeah, well, Padre Pio. And my ego is what makes me research Pio. It's not my Catholicism or my yearnings towards God.
So you thought this would be a cool role for me to play.
Great, now I can get back on the horse. You know?
Yeah, okay.
And so I start researching Pio. And as I'm researching Pio, he tells me about his plans to make a movie, and he tells me that Willem Dafoe is going to be in the movie. And now I'm really in ego. Wait, so I can go from bottom barrel to working with Willem Dafoe? This is my chance, back on the hustle.
He's telling this to a bishop out loud without even flinching. It wasn't spiritual, it was survival. And his preparation for the role was extreme because Shia drove up to a Capuchin monastery in San Lorenzo, California. And he didn't check into a hotel. He lived out of his car in the parking lot. He attended daily mass with the monks, prayed the rosary, he studied Latin, and eventually went to Italy to film. And something up there shifted, because in January of 2024, Bishop Robert Barron confirmed him into the Catholic Church at a quiet ceremony in Solvang, California. And not only did his confirmation sponsor say he wanted to become a deacon sometime in the future, but one of the greatest playwrights alive, David Mamet, after working with Shia during this period, referred to him as the greatest actor he had ever worked with. This is what the climb back looked like. And for a while, it really did look like a climb. In December of 2025, he bought a house in New Orleans for just under $1.1 million. And think about that for a second. This is the guy who 9 months earlier was taking his director to AA meetings. That guy just moved to New Orleans, which, if you don't know, is home to Mardi Gras, the single biggest drinking event in all of America. A city that essentially shuts down every February for a weeks-long street party on Bourbon Street. So February rolls around and it's Fat Tuesday, the last day of celebration before Lent begins. Shia has been bar crawling for multiple days at this point, and he ends up at a bar called the R Bar in the Faubourg Marigny neighborhood. Things escalate, he gets removed from the building, and this happened.
I was drunk, and then I felt infringed upon. Yeah, like in terms of my proximity, but I wasn't in my right mind, and so it's on me.
While outside on the streets, Shia punched multiple people, and according to the police report, he was shouting homophobic slurs the entire time. At one point, while bystanders were physically holding him down, he said, "These F words put me in jail. I'm a Catholic." And while researching this video, I was beginning to understand exactly how strong Shia's opinions were when it came to gay people.
I'll be honest with you, big gay people are scary to me.
What do you mean?
When I'm like standing by myself and 3 gay dudes are next to me touching my leg, I get scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. If that's homophobic, then I'm that.
Yeah. Does that happen a lot?
No, it just happened one time.
Recently?
Well, that's why I got arrested.
So he ended up getting charged with 2 counts of simple battery and was released that same morning. But instead of going home and laying low, he went straight back to Bourbon Street, just hours after being arrested and processed. And a few days later, a judge ordered him into rehab. And then, 11 days after the first arrest, he was taken into custody again, this time on a new charge after an additional victim came forward from that same night. Shia voluntarily turned himself in when the warrant was issued, and his post on X that night was, "Free me." The man who wanted to become a deacon, who sat across from a bishop and laid out the full weight of his own shame, typing "free me" into his phone. And 1 week after the arrest, Andrew Callahan from Channel 5 showed up at his door. Shia had no PR team, no handler, no script. He was drinking on camera, his house was barely furnished, and at the end of the interview, he punched a hole in the wall. But he opened the interview like this.
Bro, I've been having a time of my life. You know, I got some contrition on my heart, you know what I mean? It's not nice to hurt people, ever. It's fucking lame. People got hurt, I gotta deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that in full. I'll eat it all. It was on me. It's not on them. It's on me. I fucked up. It's on me. I fucked up, it's on me.
And then he says that his sobriety hadn't just slipped at Mardi Gras. It had quietly ended 9 months earlier. Now, what's interesting is that even sitting there, drinking on camera, days after the arrest, he's not done analyzing himself. He's not defensive, he's not deflecting, he's just doing the same thing he's always done. Be brutally honest about his shortcomings.
I don't think I have a drinking problem. I think I have a different problem, and I'm gonna address it.
And what's that problem?
I think I have a small man complex. Some kind of Napoleonic, I don't know what it is. I think it's something that has to do with anger and ego more so than my drinking.
And I think that's what makes this whole story so hard to look away from, because he's not lacking the insight. He never has been lacking the insight. So Andrew Callahan asked him the obvious question. If you know all of this about yourself, why hasn't it been enough? And he says this.
God don't give a fuck about what you think. He's got to beat me into it, dude. I'm never going to choose it. He's going to beat the fuck out of me until I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm with him.
No, I know what you mean. Sometimes it's like learning from mistakes simply isn't enough.
No, not for me. That's for smart people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Shia LaBeouf. He's not a cautionary tale about someone who didn't know better. He's a cautionary tale about someone who knew exactly. He told a bishop he had a gun on the table. He told a reporter he had ego sickness. He told Andrew Callahan he had no answers. And the gap between all that knowing and what actually happens, that's not a Shia LaBeouf problem. That's a human problem. He's just the one doing it in public. which might be the most honest thing about the guy. Shia is the loudest breakdown in Hollywood, but he's not the strangest. I investigated the bizarre recent footage of Jim Carrey that has people questioning if it's even him anymore. So click here to see the evidence.